Um, Welcome everybody. How are you doing today? It's very nice to have you here. And today I wanted to speak a little bit about inquiry and about our upcoming program that is two-part program, altogether 5 weeks, where I will be teaching the foundation of inquiry, the skills of inquiry, and also partner inquiry, encouraging partner inquiry as well. It's been a long time that I have been able to do a program like this, so I hope that you can join me, and regardless if you have been doing this for a while with me or if you are newer to us, this is a program where you will really learn the foundation, really understand presence, okayness, tenderness, suffering, inquiry. I will speak also more about the nervous system and brain, how that really works with inquiry, and of course about our true nature, about freedom as well. So, when I speak about inquiry, is such a powerful, skillful means, such a powerful process, such a powerful way to step out of the mind, to cut through the mind. And there are different kinds of inquiry. However, the inquiry I'm interested in is an inquiry that really brings us back to rest in presence. That really is the result of a good inquiry. So you may be familiar with Ramana Maharshi, and Ramana really introduced inquiry into our collective consciousness when one of his early disciples, at the time when Ramana was really so deeply absorbed in silence that he wasn't speaking, he didn't see the need to speak. But when one of his very early disciples asked him for instructions, he was so impressed by the stillness around Ramana and by what he was experiencing in Ramana's presence. And he asked him for instructions. And so Ramana has written down what is known today as the instructions to Who Am I inquiry. And so that's very powerful, because when I say inquiry, I mean to change the direction of your looking. Sometimes we hear that word inquiry and we think it's a mental thing, like inquire, look, think about something. But in reality, inquiry is about the change of direction of your looking. Instead of moving with the outgoing movement of the mind, instead of following what arises, we actually change the direction of our looking and we look within. We really look at the cause of suffering, at the source and the cause of suffering. Because when you look at the cause of suffering, then, of course, you can be here. And there is no, inquiry without, or there's no talking about inquiry without really understanding what suffering is. So when I say suffering, because, we use this word in many ways, right, casually in our language. So when I say suffering, I really mean a movement away from our true nature. When I say suffering, I mean an inability to be here, to know who you are, to know your true nature at any given moment. When I say suffering, I mean, not being able to know your true nature, right? Or that movement away from our true nature. So if we understand suffering to be that and not just difficult or challenging life circumstances, because, we all experience difficult, challenging life circumstances at times. Challenges in your life, challenges in the world, challenges in, relationally. And, within that, we can either be at rest, we can either know our true nature, or we can be in this movement away from our true nature, which then causes suffering. And the amazing thing about suffering is that, it's that movement away from our true nature, but the moment it happens, that movement, that experience of suffering gets projected out. It gets projected into your life circumstances, it gets projected into your inner experience, it gets projected into the world. And so before you know, you experience and think and believe and perceive that suffering is caused by anything other than our inability to be here. It looks like suffering is caused by circumstances. It looks like suffering is caused by the inner state that arises within. It looks like suffering is caused by what is going on in the world. However, suffering is really caused by the movement away from our true nature. So I have been teaching inquiry for many, 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 many years right now. And, there are two kinds of inquiry I teach. One is it okay? Which is a very strongly sensation-based inquiry that really, is based on the premise that okayness is the symptom of our true nature. And so much of the time we spend in our mind trying to figure out, fix and change and find a solution. However, when we are able to identify what we are experiencing on the level of sensation, and if we are able to question it, is it okay? Are we really resting in the truth of our true nature? Are we at rest or are we suffering? When we are able to question it like that, that cuts through the mind. That question cuts through the mind and brings us into this very, very simple then inquiry. Am I at rest? Meaning, do I know myself as our true nature? Or am I suffering? Which means, am I believing something? Am I identifying myself as something that I'm not? Am I believing that something is really going on, right? So it's a very powerful inquiry, and in this upcoming program, I will be teaching both the foundation of it, the real, understanding of presence, okayness, tenderness, suffering, but also, the skills of inquiry, what that exactly entails to be able to do it. And for us, and especially for us who have been working together for a while, but really for everybody, to really clarify some of the finer points of inquiry, to really understand that more deeply. Why are we doing it like this? I also teach at times the who am I inquiry. And again, this is the way I teach it is very sensation based. Because many people misunderstand who am I inquiry and just do it as a mental practice or as a thought in your mind, and like that it does not really have the effect. It does not really have the effect of cutting through the mind. So we will also dive into the who am I inquiry. And it's very powerful, right? It's very powerful to really so directly, this is a gift of Ramana, so directly know your true nature, no matter what's going on. So I really want to invite you to participate, and, especially I want to invite you to realize that it is possible to end suffering in this moment. That once we know what suffering is, once we understand, because so many people don't, so much of the time we don't even know what suffering is. But once we know what it is, we actually can do something about it. And so there's no need to suffer, right? And also, a very powerful inquiry is just to simply go directly into presence, right? So much of the time, we can do that, but when that is not available, when you cannot just simply come to rest in presence, then we have this very, very powerful process that we can use to bring your attention here. So again, I want to invite you to join me. And if you are enjoying these videos, please subscribe, share, like us. We want more people to know about this. We want more people to enjoy this light of our true nature.